I am Ben Rivoire from the ISF Secretariat in charge of sustainability and crop value chain matters. So welcome here and welcome to our speakers. Let me start first with Maya. Please, Maya, can you explain to us in few words, who are you, what is your company doing, where are you active in some activities in different part of the world, and why this topic of environmental and social responsibility is important for you in your company?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. It's great to be here to talk about capacity building and impact. So first of all, as public affairs and communications specialist, one of the things I get to do is to go into the field and talk to smallholder farmers and find out what they're doing, which is really a dream job if you ask me. But the real reason, the main reason I joined this company is because of its sole purpose, its raison d'être, just to serve the smallholder farmers. Tropical vegetable smallholder farmers. And this is why in 2019 our founder, Simon Groot, won the World Food Prize. This is also why we were mentioned in Fortune Mag's top 30 Change the World companies, because we are really making impact. So as some of you may already know, East West Seed has been in business for about 40 years. And we are headquartered in Asia. We started out in the Philippines. We are headquartered in Thailand. But we are also growing, and we have a strong presence in Africa. So Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, and so forth, also Kenya. And then we also have a growing presence in Latin America, so Guatemala and Brazil. And yes, so we continue to grow and expand and look for partnerships. In terms of capacity building, if we consider capacity building as really the process of leveraging and building a skill, this is because it's all about serving the smallholder farmers. We believe that market development and people development cannot exist without the other. So we've seen improved yields, better income, and as a result also greater environmental sustainability across the board with the farmers we work with. And so far we've served 23 million smallholder farmers worldwide, which is quite amazing. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in terms of what our foundation is doing, because it started out as a department, a technology department, just transferring technical skills, knowledge skills, and it later grew out and turned into a foundation that only focuses on this area. Environmentally speaking, we train farmers on how to farm sustainably, but we are also looking internally on how we can really take this a step further. So currently we're focusing on soil health, but also raising awareness on biodiversity among our staff members, et cetera, et cetera. And then social, environmental, social responsibility as well. It's a key area for us, so it helps on our side that we have a diverse managing board with a 50-50 woman to men ratio. But we realize we have to take this further as well. We published a Women Farmers Report last year, which was great because it looked at the gaps and the opportunities that that women farmers specifically are struggling with. And so in terms of our future vision, we really want to continue to leverage our impact and also focus on African farmers, the young next generation of African farmers. So this is our goal.
Nice, thanks Maya for sharing that. And maybe Jason, may I ask the same question to you from a Syngenta perspective? Can you explain, what Syngenta is doing, on which crop, and where you are active in the world?
Yeah, of course. It's a great pleasure to be here, by the way, as well. So very happy to be with all of you today. Syngenta Seeds has a business in vegetable seeds, field crops, and flowers, and it's part of the wider Syngenta group, which is also has a large crop protection business, biologicals, fertilizers, and we're present in over 100 countries. So we have a really geographically diverse organization and also culturally diverse. I guess it's one of the reasons I really enjoy working at Syngenta. Syngenta's mission is to transform agriculture, with our farmers, in society, and the planet. So it's a pretty broad ambition, very ambitious goal. And transformation of agriculture, transformation of anything is a two-way street. You can't just hand out information or great technologies. They have to be understood, appreciated, leveraged fully by those who receive them, our customers, our communities. And that's where capacity building is so important. Educating our customers, our communities in the value of ag, the value of quality seed and making those things accessible to our stakeholders, our customers, is critical. So we can't unlock the potential of our transformation without doing it through capacity building. And I'll just briefly comment, if I pivot a bit to my role with the ISF ESR group around my chairmanship of that group, it's a similar mission. A lot of what we're trying to do with sustainability overall is to educate. The industry has come together with a mission of improving sustainability and recognizes the criticality of that. But what we find, we have different levels of knowledge, understanding, even within ourselves, much less the communities we're trying to impact. And so fundamentally, capacity building for our industry is critical to unlock this value and the mission that we have. So I think both from my position at Syngenta and what we're trying to do with the ISF, I can't think of anything more important than capacity building. So very grateful to be talking about the topic today.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Maybe one point back on Syngenta's strategy in relation to ESG matters. Can you tell us more about that and how it's important and relevant for the company as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a program called the Good Growth Plan, which has both environmental and social aspects over a number of years. And ESG and environmental targets are absolutely critical within our strategy. And increasingly more important is how do we make our portfolio more sustainable as well. It's not just about doing sustainability as a side effort, it's embedding sustainable benefits into the products that we sell, both in the seeds business, our crop protection business, certainly our biologicals business. So what you're seeing more and more at Syngenta is embedding the value proposition of sustainability in our portfolio, in our offers. And so it's exciting time for us in Syngenta.
Okay, great. Thank you. And it's great to have two representatives from the seed industry, seed companies with also different role, crops type, perspective, action, and it's great, and it shows also the diversity of the seed industry. Herman, may I now turn the question to you? You are not from the seed industry, if I may. You work for ISAM, International School of Agri-Management. So interesting also to have you on board. I think it's your first attendance to the World Seed Congress.
Correct.
And can you maybe say a few words about your organization and what you're doing, and also in terms of capacity building in that sense?
Sure. So we are the first business school globally created by the sector for the sector. So we are only specialized in agribusiness. So we don't do any of the technical stuff. So we only focus on the management side of all the agricultural supply chain. So we've been created by multinationals like Koppert from the Netherlands, Fashion Group, which is an example how different producers from Spain and they get together with a seed company like Numens in order to create a watermelon, and they market it globally. Executives from BASF, like Isabel Cayola, who is the global head of crop, or Flavio Alzueta, who was the vice president CMO of Global Gap for 10 years. So all these people together created the school, and we are located in Almeria. Almeria is one of the most important agricultural hubs in the world, and the vegetable garden of Europe. The Almeria agricultural model has been named by United Nations as the best agricultural model to feed the world in terms of sustainability and efficiency. More importantly, the best agricultural model for sharing wealth, because our farmers, they have on average, for greenhouses, they have on average 1 hectare, but they get together in order to create commercializers or cooperatives, and this is what creates, the export market and now knowledge market where we are in Almeria. So I believe the location is great in order to show, the level of expertise that we've gained. Just to give you a few numbers, Spain is one of the main exporters of fruit and veg in the world. Almeria itself exports 25% of the whole Spain. If you put Murcia and Granada, which are the nearby provinces, you have within 2 hours drive, 50% of all the exports from Spain. That makes a concentration of companies that possibly is the biggest concentration of agricultural companies per square meters in the world. And this is what has created innovation. This is what has attracted the seeds companies. Almeria has grown with the seeds companies. All the multinationals, they have research or excellence centers globally. You have Syngenta, you have Rixwam, you have Bayer, all of them are there. And we feel, we start in Almeria, but our focus is global. We have students from more than 40 countries. We only started, 4 years ago, and what we do is we offer training management. We do master's degree level short courses, but also we are looking into do more capacity building and projects in other markets as well.
Interesting, and that will be also interesting to see how it fits with other initiatives from seed companies on the ground in terms of capacity building. So maybe Jason, question to you, because I think you do have some interesting project initiative here around in South Africa, really working dedicated on those topics related to environment and social responsibility. Can you tell us more about who are your partners, how does it work, what is the objective, and have you achieved any key milestones since you started this initiative?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I'm very excited about this topic, in fact, so you'll have to give me a nod if I'm going too far, because I could talk about this all day, to be honest. In South Africa, I'll start with South Africa. I'll talk a little bit more about Africa more broadly in a moment, but Syngenta has a number of programs for capacity building, mostly working in partnership with some of our channel partners and distribution partners around development, education programs, understanding the value and access to good quality seeds and other practices. It's well established, again, both here in South Africa and across all of Africa. But I want to spend a little bit more time talking about another project that we have here, a couple projects that we have in our seed production area in South Africa, because it's an example that is sometimes it's difficult to develop a practical example for capacity building on the ground, really in close partnership with our farmers. We have a lot of seed production here in South Africa. And I had the pleasure this week actually to travel about 300 kilometers north of Cape Town to visit some of our production areas. My colleagues in seed production there have, in partnership with Stellenbosch University, which is an excellent partner we have here in South Africa, as well as the Nature Conservancy, which is a global partner of Syngenta, we've established a regenerative ag trial in this growing area. And it's a growing area that has pretty variable levels of seed quality, of soil quality. And one of the key levers of regenerative ag practices in establishing agronomic production is around soil quality and soil health. And this program has established 3 different trials within a growing area, each of those implementing different regenerative ag practices like no-till, continuous soil cover, and so on. And I think the most exciting thing about this, and which I was able to witness myself this week when I visited the trials, is these are not done at a kind of a lone research site away from the growers. They're very much done with our growers. So, as we design these trials, as we plant the plots, as we deploy these different practices, we're doing it in partnership with our growers. And our growers are able to come and learn with us and from us and partnering with us. And again, our partners at Stellenbosch and the Nature Conservancy are critical for that. Why are we doing these things? Why should we have cover crops? Why should we keep the soil covered continuously? What is the intended benefit for our soil health from doing those things? Improved soil health means we have improved water retention, improved productivity, but it's a long journey, and you have to understand the science of that. And working with our growers hand in hand is actually a chance for us to build capacity in real time. In fact, as we learn about what it means to make our soil more healthy, they're also learning with us. And when we learn things that don't work as well, they're learning those things too. And it's an evolution and a transformation that we have together. We're also taking the opportunity to bring other farmers who aren't participating directly to witness this, to participate, to ask questions, to get involved. It's extremely exciting. It's a 6-year project that we have, again, in collaboration with these partners. We're in the 3rd year, so we have a long way to go. We're making progress, but the challenges are significant. It's not something that you can invest in overnight and expect to see your soil health improve so quickly. And so each year we're assessing the quality of the soil, seeing where we are in terms of the health, and then making adaptations as we go to make sure that we continue to get the right learning. So it's really very exciting. I also had the opportunity while I was in that area to witness and learn more about another project that we have, a different type of capacity building, which I'll just briefly mention. We're working with Stellenbosch University and also the South African Department of Agriculture to invest in gardens at some of the schools in that area. So we're planting vegetable gardens. They're growing their own gardens, they're getting produce that is then used for the meals at the school. And so those students are able to see the value of good agronomic practices. They're getting to see these beautiful vegetables that are coming to them as part of their meals every day. And we're giving awards and recognition for those schools that are improving the most their gardens and having the best production and performance. And then those schools can tell their story to the others and they can learn from each other. So I mean, when you think about capacity building, our youngest stakeholders are also able to benefit from that kind of learning. And I was able again to see that firsthand, really excited by that. I would be remiss not to say that in other parts of Africa, Syngenta is also heavily involved. On the image on the screen, you can see in the bottom left, those are students from Stellenbosch University involved in the trial that I mentioned. And the upper right, we have a colleague in our program in Kenya with Ag Ventures, which is a program where we're bringing, with our Syngenta Foundation for Sustainable Ag, bringing regenerative agriculture practices to farmers there in Kenya. We're also have a program called the Modern Agriculture Platform MAP Centers in Syngenta, which we've developed in China, which we're now also piloting here in Africa and Tanzania. So that's again trying to improve technology, improve access to markets for smallholder farmers. So on the screen you can see a link to our foundation site. That's a key partner for us and for others in this journey.
That's interesting how you partner with different actors, both from the academy, university, but also how you want to have an impact on the ground, both on the good agricultural practices first, but also you can see that there is the educational side also, and the impact on rural communities and farmers, and also bringing some other habits and good practices in the field. So that's great to see this diversity of things.
Absolutely.
Maya, from East-West Seed perspective, I know that you also have some very good initiative also with your foundation to really try to transfer knowledge and transfer this technology innovation, both in terms of planting materials, seeds, but also in terms of know-how. I know you started mostly in Asia Pacific, but now you're also growing in Africa. Can you tell us more about some concrete example also from different places in the world?
Sure, so to increase farmers' know-how, we really focus on training trainers, localized, on the ground, with the farmers, with the idea of them bringing that back to their villages, etc., etc. So in Asia, we've been running many projects to this end. One of my favorite examples is in Myanmar. We noticed that women and youth just did not have access to market at all. So we came in and just helped them through various ways. And now we recently finished a survey which showed that their incomes increased considerably and their yields increased considerably. And it's exciting because now in Africa we have ongoing projects as well. In Uganda, for example, the vast majority of the money that our founder won from the World Food Prize went to raising the bar in terms of growing the pumpkin sector. So what we also noticed at the same time in Uganda specifically is that in the north there are 1 million refugees coming in, mostly from South Sudan, who were not able to eat enough because of the rationings from organizations coming in. So we came in and we showed people how to farm themselves. And the impact is quite amazing to see. We've so far helped around 10,000 of these people. But we realize a lot more has to be done. In Nigeria, at the same time, we noticed that because of cultural barriers sometimes, women are not allowed to go to the field. So we decided to bring the field to them. We decided to help them with home gardening, etc., etc. And that's really also paying off. Now they're allowed to go into the field. But this is only the beginning, and we're excited, and we hope very much to continue to put on major knowledge transfer programs across the continent, but we need partnerships for that. We need, as a sector also, to come together and make this happen.
That's great, and we can also see the complementarity of action that do have an impact on the ground. So it's also great, and maybe there are indeed some interesting partnership to consider about how the seed industry can act on those horizontal matters that are important in relation to youth and women, you mentioned also, but interesting that you come also with some fact and figures, because that's clear evidence on the impact, and after also within the discussion we could have in the seed industry when we talk with regulators, policymakers, and also the impact that in relation to more long-term target goals we can have as a seed industry, it's quite impressive. So great job and great to gather this data to share.
Thank you.
Herman, maybe now a question for you, and also as you're discovering the seed world here in the term of, I know that you're working with some seed companies involved in some of your program, but now you can see here at the World Seed Congress also the dynamic in terms of exchange between people, the business behind that, the topics being discussed at the policy angle. I'm interested to get your view on the capacity building and what you're doing more kind of I will say, in class, in room capacity building, even though you do have also some activities on the ground. But what can you learn also from this kind of on the ground training, capacity building activity, and how it could be also complementary to your kind of domain?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that even before when I was talking. We were talking about regenerative agriculture. There's like great potential, for synergies. A real, they can complement. We can complement each other, for sure. So I think first I'm gonna tell you what I actually do, and then I'm gonna say, where we are moving and where we see the collaboration with other stakeholders in the sector. So right now, what we do in our programs, we have face-to-face and online with the students from all around the world. We have quite a lot of students, from Africa actually. So what they like about our programs is we are not focused on the technical side. We are only focused on the agri-business management, the other side, the export market. How to be more efficient. So in order to do that, our students, they visit more than 40 companies that represent the whole supply chain. So they have a really better understanding of how everything operates. We go with them to the international trade fairs. We go to Fruit Logistica in Berlin, Fruit the Traction in Madrid, InfoAgro in Almeria with the students to introduce them, to the market to see how everything works. They also do an internship with seeds companies, or multinationals based in Almeria, face to face. And then we have a consulting project. For example, last year they did it with a production company called EcoInver, and it was focused on sustainability. So how they did sustainability in all the different parts of the supply chain, but how you can really communicate that to the market and and to your final client. So we do that consulting project, and then we do mini challenges, like mini consulting projects, with the different companies. So that's something that they can learn and they can get back, when they go back to their countries. But I think we can go a step further. Apart from our degree programs, we already had from the beginning, and the idea of creating, for example, farm management program. And so where we don't teach them how to grow, because there are very good organizations that they do that, for example, you are doing all that part. So it's like how to run the farm in a more efficient way. Because when you have a greenhouse of 10 hectares, it's like a proper company. So you need to know knowledge how to people management. You need to have some knowledge about finance. You need to understand the technologies, what technologies are going to be better, to be more efficient. You need to understand also the certifications, all those things. So we already have a draft of this program in order to create it. And we are also going to do it online, so we can have like an academy and supplement, other foundations and other seed companies with this part, and also with the proper face-to-face training. And I think those could really complement, because you need to know how to grow, but you need to know how to sell both ways, And it's not the same to sell, locally, nationally, than internationally. It's a completely different ballgame. So I believe training the farmers is key in the technical side, but we need to go the step further, where those farmers, they get together in order, to commercialize and to generate more value for all the farmers. So the same as we did in Almeria.
Yeah, no, I see also here some nice complementarity in terms of action. Maya, you mentioned the need for maybe the seed industry to act together. What do you have in mind exactly? How can, individual step taken by individual companies can have a big impact all together?
Yeah. So in terms of how to make a big impact altogether, I think maybe some 3 points I will choose. One is really taking sustainability one step further. That means embedding it into all your operations and leveraging champions inside your companies or organizations to take it further and to help, because we have so many challenges that we are facing. And the second one is partnerships, so coming together as companies and institutions and sitting around the table and finding out where we can collaborate, where we can become more efficient together, because there are lots of things we are all thinking about doing and are going to do, and a lot of those will overlap. And the third one is from our company, the heart of our company, which is to really think about the farmer, the smallholder farmer, stepping into their shoes and what do they want? How do they see the world? How can we teach them or help them or support them in this journey amidst all the challenges that are coming our way? So to put it all together, I think we can be very positive actors. We can take a leading stance, but we have to come together to make this happen.
Maybe a question for you, Herman, before we go more through how the seed industry is willing to engage. But sustainability is also one topic important for your school and your programs. You do have some specific sustainability or in line with UN Sustainable Development Goals action that you teach, you explain to your students or young professionals?
Yeah, so we do actually have a specific modules in sustainability, like sustainability in the agricultural world and also in terms of logistics. But then it is also embedded as subject in the different modules that we have. For example, in marketing, we have sustainability in marketing. In finance, we have green finances. So we really try to have, in every single subject, an element, of sustainability.
So a key topic also for you.
Extremely important. I mean, actually, it is also in our mission, like the sustainability needs to be key in order to develop the sector. So
mission. Jason, question for you now with your hat as chairperson of this ISF working group, coordination group on topics related to environment and social responsibility. What is our mission in that respect?
Well, I'd first say that what the ISF has done by creating the platform for this topic has been critical. The Seed Declaration of 2021 set the stage and recognized that the industry has a key role to play in the sustainability of the food systems overall, massive impact. And with the formation of our group last year, with the restructuring of the ISF, we had that focal point, that platform to work together to collaborate to build this mission. Our mission that we have developed as a team is around, as an organization, as a group within the ISF, is to really help create more sustainable, resilient value chains in our industry. It's a massive undertaking. But what we have learned, we've heard some of the same comments from my colleagues here, is the value of the different perspectives that members bring to that creating that mission and driving that forward. So I think, understanding where the industry can add value collectively versus working alone as an individual seed company is absolutely the first most critical element to that mission. So, the Seed Declaration, the formation of the group, and then really the focus in those areas of value is most critical to that mission of creating more sustainable, resilient value chains. So the group's coming together, and with all these different perspectives, seed companies and associations and other members, to talk about best practices. What are they doing already? We're hearing some examples here today, again from my colleagues. What opportunities are they seeing? What risks and opportunities are they seeing for their businesses that we can bring in a kind of a non-competitive way where we can add value collectively? Topics like carbon accounting for products. That's a non-competitive element. It's pre-competitive that we really need to align on if we're going to make a meaningful impact on the value chain. Biodiversity. Some of the social programs that we're talking about today, these are areas where collectively we can build value that will benefit all of our businesses and also make the planet more sustainable, whether it's a social program or environmental program. So it's a high-level mission. I know it sounds very grand, but I think one of the key points is to really understand where of that mission the seed industry can come together to drive most value, and that's what we're working towards today.
Quite ambitious targets and objectives for the group, but at least there is something happening. And apparently there is a clear intention for the seed industry to work together to set the path for the future. And maybe you can say a few words about what is happening next year in the scope of next Congress and how it could also help to navigate into the next century, no?
Yeah, for sure. We're at an exciting time now for our group, our ESR group, and also for ISF overall with the centenary next year. Leading to that time frame, we're really taking those themes, the key areas where we can engage as an industry in developing guiding principles. So where can we as an industry stack hands to say, this is somehow the space we're going to operate in. This is a critical area for sustainability. Again, I use some examples like biodiversity. Could be elements of health and safety, wage programs for workers, carbon footprint. What are those key standards? What are the key principles we're going to operate in together? And then within those, drive down to where we can make meaningful impact and value. Position papers, infographics that can be shared across our industry that we can all benefit from, again, as individual seed companies or other organizations in our industry, and they tell the story collectively. The challenge there, Ben, is that we have to come together and be willing to align on these key themes. And and with the call to action of the 100th anniversary of the ISF, the continued alignment, we had a great meeting as a group last week. The continued alignment that we're seeing, I think we're going to make a meaningful impact, but we have to be willing to choose those areas where we can work together and collaborate and then set that very clearly out so everyone can understand that. It'll benefit the industry, it'll benefit the individual companies, and of course it'll benefit our stakeholders.
Nice, so we can expect a lot of nice things next year in Rotterdam. Maya, will you come next year in Rotterdam?
100%.
Good. Now, anything you would like to share also from your experience this week at the World Seed Congress in Cape Town, and learnings, and also what you expect for next year and what could happen in the meantime?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So this was my first ISF experience as a young professional, as a woman, and it was great. It was great to meet so many people. It was a fantastic opportunity. We had the first, I believe, ISF's first women's luncheon, which was empowering because of the opportunity to network with women in the sector and meet other young, like-minded professionals and to discuss what still needs to be done and how ISF can act as a force of good in this sector and really bring us together more. So I'm excited to see where ISF will go, and I'm excited to continue meeting people and making impact.
Great, thanks. And thanks for your contribution also. Herman, will you be there next year in Rotterdam, and maybe anything that could happen next year also important for you, no? You would like to share?
So I'm pretty sure I will be there, pretty sure, especially, after coming here, I knew the sector, was really professional. I've got family that were working in the seed industry, so I knew how it was. I'm from clients, but what ISF has done here every year, putting the sector together, I think is really impressive. And what I have seen here is a lot of collaboration. You were talking about the sustainable group, and I think that collaboration is important to bring the sector forward for sure. And our mission is growing knowledge, sharing values. But I feel by doing this collaboration, and talking to different stakeholders, I feel we can have a much bigger impact by working together, and complementing each other. So, going back, to this collaboration, next year after ISF 100th anniversary, in Almeria in Spain, we are hosting IFAMA, which is the International Federation Agri-Management Association. It will be our 35th Congress. We're actually going to be talking a lot about the importance of the seed industry and sustainability. So, I think it will be great, to see many of the players from ISF also joining us in Spain, in IFAMA. We have also a focus on the young generations. I've seen how you've started here with the Young Corner, doing all this, which I think is key, for the talent, in the sector. So we have the IFAMA Young Board there. Yesterday we had a meeting, talking about this with members from the Young Board. And, I just want everybody to encourage them, to come both to, Rotterdam and also to Almeria, to IFAMA as well. Thank you.
Great. So apparently 2024 will be an interesting year, and there is a commitment to all work together with the diversity of partners that could work together to address the same mission in terms of bringing agro-products, food security in a sustainable way, and helping everyone and have a positive impact for all. So Maya, thank you. Herman, thank you for being with us. Jason, good luck for the rest of the work. We'll assess if you're in line with your objective next year in Rotterdam.
Right.
But we are looking forward for that. We hope that you have enjoyed the discussion, but you see that there is a clear commitment from the seed industry to work on those topics of capacity building on the ground and beyond, and on those topics related to environment and social responsibility. With that, we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you next year in Rotterdam also for the 100 years anniversary of ISF. All the best. Seed is life.